Hello, everyone. I am going to show you what an end user goes through to complete an online notarization with our platform. They would come to our main screen, and if they've already created a profile, they would simply click log in. If they have not created a profile, hopefully they are using your link and tying themselves to you as their primary notary. In this instance, we are already logged in, so I am going to hit new notarization. As you can see, the credit card that I have on file is already there. And we are going to upload the file that I want to notarize. And it's going to ask if there a will and is there election documents, and they have to say yes or no. They can define how many people are signing the document. It is important to note that if they enter an email address incorrectly, it cannot be rectified. They will lose this transaction. They need to select if they have everything to satisfy the KBA requirements, which are a cell phone and access to an email and a valid government ID. If they don't have one of those things, they will click this little button here on the left, and it will alert our staff that they need assistance. If they need to have additional witnesses, which they cannot provide, they can simply select here as to how many they need for this transaction. We are not going to utilize that at this time. Next step would be for them to start here. If they didn't want to do that, they could save this and come back to it later if they needed to look up an email address or get information. So we are going to start this transaction. It is confirming the information they've provided is valid and confirming their first initial payment for this transaction, which is the platform fee, the service fee. Now they can save it, they can schedule it, or they can notarize it. If we schedule it, they will pick a time in the future and it will alert the notary that they have an appointment. If you are unable to address the appointment when they request it, you can reschedule with that client up to 24 hours in the future from the appointment date time. But in this instance, we are going to notarize it. And I have now triggered the KBA process to start. And it's going to go into my email. Sometimes it hits my spam. And we are going to open this KBA. They have 2 minutes to complete these questions. And they have to answer 4 out of 5 correct. The information provided on here is off of a fake individual, so it is not anyone's private information that's being displayed. Next, they need to upload photos of their valid government ID. It's best if they utilize a cell phone to take these photos, but they can upload them from the computer as long as they've been taken with a cell phone and saved to the computer. If they don't have one saved on their computer, they can open this link from their cell phone and take the photos directly. They would select what country the documents originated from. They would select the type of document, and this will have other options here shortly. And then they select the file. In this instance, we are just going to use a green square. Again, it is a testing mode validation. So that is all we need. One moment here. And at this point, they're going to hit submit and validate their document. I'm going to let Bethany to share her screen now so that you can see what happens as soon as they hit this validation section. Try again, please. So as she's loading this, she is the notary in this transaction. One moment, there we go. So now she is in the notary dashboard, and I am now going to finalize my valid ID credentialing. and you will see a pop-up appear as she is my primary notary. It's going to give me time to accept or reject this. It tells me if it's an election, if it's a will, and what type of document, if they've, or the name of the document, and how many people are signing. Please select accept. If she would have rejected it, it would have told the signer that they need to go and find another notary. It's instantly going to open up a preview of the document so that the notary can assess if the document's complete, how many times they're going to sign the document, and if they need to add any additional pages, such as a loose leaf acknowledgement or jurat or a copy certification. So as we wait for this to finish loading, you can see on the right-hand side that at any time the notary can cancel the notarization. Please click that red button, Bethany. It's going to ask you a series of questions as to why you're canceling the notarization. Feel free to select the appropriate response. If you select other, you can enter the details of this, of whatever the issue is. Please click close. If you need to add witnesses, you can click add witnesses. Please do not do that. If since we are not adding witnesses on here, it won't allow it because the user did not ask for witnesses. It would tell you if you needed to add them. If you did, you would go to a searching database, which would pull in up to two additional notaries to witness the transaction. If you did that, those notaries would get a ping similar to that notarization ping. It would tell them that there was a witness request and they would have to accept or reject it. As you can see, Bethany can now scroll through the document. Go ahead and pull that down. You can get an idea of what you are about to sign, how many times. Again, you definitely need to document how many times you are going to sign as a notary. I've demoed this document a few times, so I happen to know the notary only signs one time in this document. But for the purpose of this demonstration, we are going to use two signatures for the notary so that you can see how the digital signature works. So we are all set. The document is all there. So we will hit next. On this screen, the notary has controls to tag or to enter the email addresses and launch the Zoom meeting with the clients. Keep in mind that you do not have to enter the Zoom session immediately. You can open Zoom whenever you're comfortable to have those users join you in that session. Click on Open in New Tab, Bethany. If you do get a cookie error, just simply click on Open in New Tab. And now you're going to get a confirmation. You want to say yes on this confirmation because that is our main admin account for Adobe. And that's who you are registered under as you are a part of the Cyberize It team. Now, if you could click back on the Cyberize It tab there, Bethany. As you can see, like I said, you can launch Zoom, you can cancel the notarization at any time, and you can complete the notarization at any time. If you press the complete notarization, it is going to close out the entire session and you will not be able to access it again. So do not do that until you are ready to close the transaction. Under the Adobe Sign status, you can see our fake client, John Smith, has not signed the document yet. That's what the little wheel is telling us. That location will have a line for each user that needs to sign the document. Now, if you click back to the Adobe Sign page, please. Typically, this page would open down in that small frame of the screen. Unfortunately, we're having a little bit of cookie errors. However, it is functional still. In this moment, you can add email addresses. So Bethany, will you type the CyberDocsBiz email again? in line 3. Since the notary is going to sign this twice, they need to have one email for each time they sign it. And that's if you're using a digital certificate for your signature. As you look at the lines on the left-hand side of the 2 and 3, you can click those lines and drag the signing order into a different pattern. So just drag 3 above 2. So if you needed to rearrange the signing order, you can do that right now. If you were getting a request from the title agency and they did not need to sign this, you could delete their email and it would not go to them in the routing sequence. Do you see this show CC under the number 4? If you click on that, you can add alternate emails. Go ahead and click on it. You can add alternate emails for people who need to get a copy of the document but are not signing the document. So in the case of a title agency, they're not signing the document, but they do need to know when it's signed. So you could enter the title agency's email address in that field. If you know the client needs to have it sent to someone else and they've requested that you do that, feel free to add that email here. However, you're only going to know that if you are in direct contact with the client or if you've already opened the Zoom session to communicate with them. The next thing is the message. You can customize that message. However, you do not need to. One thing that's really cool about this system is over on the right-hand side in the options area, you can see the recipient's language. If the recipient speaks Spanish, you can select Spanish from that menu and go ahead and change it, hit Spanish. It's going to change the instructions for their area to Spanish. In addition to that, it's going to change all of the pop-ups and alerts as they're signing the document into Spanish, but it will not change the actual document that they're signing. It will still be in the original language that it was when they uploaded it. So you can change that back to English now. If you have a document and you need to add your own acknowledgement, jurat, or copy certification, or any other required files to make this document legal in your state, you can simply click Add Files. If you don't, you can also just drag and drop them into the box if you have them like saved on your desktop or a file folder open. Go ahead and hit Cancel. So if you dragged the file into that little box right there where it says drag more files here, it will add them to the end of the original document. All right, that is all of the specialized coding that you, the notary, can do prior to tagging. So let's hit next and let's start tagging this document. Now, since this is a demo, we're not actually going to conform to the lines on the page, but you'll see that Adobe will search out and discover fields and put lines or put fields on those lines for people to enter information into. Go ahead and scroll down, please. No, scroll down on the document, please. So you could see the initial spots are already coded with a text box. It's not required, but it is there. Keep going down a little bit. There is a signature line that it defaults a digital signature, and I want to remove that. Keep going. Oh, go back up. I think we might have missed it at the top. Second page. Because clients don't have to sign with a digital certificate unless that's how you're validating them. We can remove the digital certificate from this request. Keep going. A little bit more. Nope, nope. Keep going. Nope, all the way up to the top, Bethany. It's like right there, page 2. Delete that, please. Click and delete. You can either right click and delete it, or you can just hit the delete button after you've selected it. Now, over on the right-hand side, since the client is the Cyberize It notary, drag your scroll bar to the top and drag the plain signature field over to the left and drop it on the page. Just click and drag that signature box. Now, click the signature word over on the right-hand side and drag it over. There you go. Perfect. So there's that. And then in the top corner, or actually down on the right-hand side, scroll down on the right-hand side and go to more fields. Keep going. Yeah, more fields. This is a neat aspect. Drag that file attachment over. So if you have an end user who has said they forgot a page, or they need to include an exhibit that they didn't include in the document, you can drag and drop this file attachment, right click it and make it required. So when that user, hit edit and then required. So when that user signs, they will have to upload an attachment to this document. So click OK. And now we're going to do the notary signature. So drop down on the email address up at the top right and select the next email on the list. The blue, yes. And now in the signature fields area, drag and drop digital signature. Yeah, you can stick it anywhere. That's fine. Not over top of the same signature, please. Bethany, please move. Yeah, thank you. And then drag and drop stamp anywhere on the document. All right. Now we're going to select the next signer. In the top right, change the email address to the black one. Yeah. And now drag digital signature again over to it. Anywhere on the document, just not over top of an existing field. Perfect. So we're going to assume that we've coded this document and tagged it in all the different fields, marked the required areas for the different signers. And now, if we haven't brought the clients into the session, we are now going to initiate that Zoom session. It's going to send them an email and give them alert on their dashboard in their journal that the Zoom is ready to begin. Once they're in that session, please introduce yourself, validate them, validate their ID from their camera on their webcam, perform any validation aspects that you have to do legally, such as questions, oaths, and things of that nature. Once you're ready to start the signature routing, you would hit send in the bottom right corner. Did you get it? All right, so now Bethany is going to show us that it's, if you go back to the Cyberize It screen, it's still going to show that it is not signed. So click the Cyberize It screen. Just wait for it to load. All right, don't do anything, Bethany. Hold on. We are still doing a little bit of clearing of the bugs. So I'm going to take a snapshot of this. However, this is the first time I've seen that one. All right, so Bethany, if you'll stop sharing. Oh, there, it came back. Awesome. So you can see the Adobe Sign status is still circling, and that is perfect. And you can still see you can cancel this or complete it. But we are going to wait because we need everyone to sign the document. So please stop sharing. All right, now it is my turn. You will see in my email, I now have the notarization, the signature request. I'm going to open that link. And I'll have my instructions from the previous screen. I can either hit start or I can just click go to the next required field. I'm going to shortcut it. We can type it, draw it, load an image, or text it to our phone to sign it. I'm just going to type it for this moment. And then I'm going to attach a file. We're going to say we need to add an Ohio apostille form to this, the application. And now I am done, and I am going to click to sign. At this point, it is now going to route to the notary, and I am going to be the notary now. And here we go. So now this is the first notary signature. And I'm going to click required fields. And one of the things you need to realize is you cannot sign a digital signature until all other fields are done. So I have to do my stamp first. And then I can submit and proceed to sign. At this point, it's going to prompt me to download this document. And then I will open that document. See where it says click here? I am going to click to the right of that, right where the arrow is pointing. And it's going to prompt me to select my digital certificate. I'm going to hit review and close and then sign. It will upload automatically into the system. And it's going to send it to me again so that I can process my second notary signature. Hit start, proceed to sign, download again, open, and click here to sign. Again, selecting my appropriate digital certificate. Continue, review, close, sign. And then it is all completed. Now, if we look at my email, I will get an email that says it is complete, but I cannot access the document. If I go to my Cyberize It platform, you will see that it still says in progress. I cannot access that document. So now, Bethany, if you can share your screen again. At this point, Bethany needs to close out the transaction, and that will process the payment for the notarization. And you'll be able to see, one moment here as it starts to load, that the circling for the signer has changed to a check mark to show that they had signed it. And that's a live view. So if there was multiple signers, well, it should have changed to a check mark. All right. Anyway, so that circle will change to a green check mark. But right now we're going to hit complete notarization. And in the pop-up window, we're going to say it was 2 stamps and an acknowledgement. So if you put 2, and then select acknowledgement, and confirm. Make sure that you do have the correct information in this box. Once it is submitted, it will charge the customer. Voila, it is done. And now, if you will stop sharing for me. I can now go to my journals. I can go to my call to action, and now I can download this document as a client. And once the recording has finished, I will have access to that as well. And as you can see, the document is secure. You can see the signature panel here on the left. And you can see all of the different signatures on the document, as well as their hyperlinks to validate that they are legitimate signatures and encrypted. So all of them have that credentialing on them, the seal and the signatures. And that is the end of that transaction. And we will do another one shortly. Thank you very much.